Right, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you, Michael and Adrian. I'm here to speak a bit more about debt prevention rather than what you do when it goes wrong, but I'll also touch on, there's going to be quite a bit of overlap with what these guys said, and I think there's also some overlap with what Stephen's about to tell us all. So apologies in advance. I'd say the first thing to do before you go letting people have credit is just check them out, find out who they are, do a credit search on them, go onto Companies House, find out have they got previous business failures, have they done this before, they got into difficulty before, do they have loads of companies behind them, new company formations. Is having that client going to be too much hassle for you in pursuing a potential debt? Do you need that? Just do as much research as you can. Go onto Facebook, like really simple things that you might not think might work, but they actually do, because you get a pretty good picture these days online as to who someone is and how they've behaved previously. Yeah, there's a few other bits on there you can look at. And do run those checks periodically. Once you've got someone as a client, check them out every month or two. It doesn't cost anything, so just keep on top of it all. Invest in robust and managed due diligence processes and procedures. Make sure, get some documentation from them. Make sure you know who you're actually dealing with. Just because someone asks for credit, you don't have to give it to them. Make sure you know exactly who it is. Online verifications. For most professionals in this room, we've got to do know your client stuff all the time. So if you're a business, don't let it stop you. Ask for references. Speak to those referees. Have face-to-face meetings with them. The paperwork. I didn't realise I was back one. Review, make sure you've got the right paperwork in place. Get them to sign up to terms and conditions. Set things like late payment terms. Can you penalise them in any way if they don't pay you? Retention of title. Should you be getting, I don't know, whatever it is you're going to provide them with, if it's a product, can you put retention title clauses in there to make sure that title of whatever you're selling doesn't pass to them unless it's paid for. Make sure your terms and conditions are understood and verified at the beginning. Make sure they sign up to them. Should you be taking payment in advance? Can you take payment in advance? Depends on what the service or asset is, the goods that you're going to be selling. Should you take payment in advance partly or in total? Look at direct debits, especially in the service industry. Get paid on a drip. That'll help their cash flow and possibly yours. And is it worth getting a personal guarantee? Or a cup of tea? Next one, strict processes. Make sure you, once again, it's all about paperwork. Just send stuff out periodically. They've touched on this before. Pick the phone up to them. Make sure you've got in a constant rapport with whoever it is that owes you money. Just make sure don't let them, because if you don't speak up, I guarantee you, the stuff we've seen as insolvency practitioners, people just go quiet. They won't talk to you. So just keep hassling them. And if there are disputes, once again, resolve them quickly. Don't be afraid to talk to these people. Once you've got them signed up, make sure you stick to your terms and conditions. Chase them all the time. Have a look at your ROT. Have a look at if you've got a personal guarantee. If a direct debit stops, start questioning it. Why? And I understand it's a balancing act. You've got to be commercial, but at the end of the day, don't be worried about losing a client. If you're going to lose a client that doesn't pay you, in effect, that's not losing a client. Alternative to managing the debt is something like credit insurance. They're expensive. but you can get most of your money back in most of the times, but there is a lot of exclusions and there's a lot of limitations. Whilst it's possible, it is expensive. Invoice financing. I don't know if anyone's familiar with invoice financing. It's a possibility. You get your money pretty much on day one, up to 95%, but it's costly. And they could manage the debt for you. So once again, but that's usually on a business to business only. They won't provide you with funds on a personal basis. So as a business, it's another consideration. When it goes wrong, once again, I'm going to overlap on what these guys said. What can you do? A stat demand leading to winding up or a bankruptcy petition. You could sell the debt. There's loads of organisations out there that will pay anything between kind of a penny in the pound to 90 pence in the pound, just depending on what the debt is, how old it is. They'll profile the debt and see what they're willing to offer you. Debt collection agencies, you could instruct solicitors.
Hooray!
And bailiffs, once again, a bit of overlap. I thought they were now called court enforcement agents or officers. Yeah. See, I did do some research on this, and that was it. That's all. You could make an online claim. Apparently, it's quite easy to make an online claim. I've never tried it, but it's another alternative. And lastly, the warning signs and mainly kind of the reasons of why businesses get it wrong and why they get into trouble. I'll just go through all of those and I'll leave that up there. It could be a whole raft of reasons why someone can't or won't pay, and I think that's one of the reasons, that's what we need to look at first. If you are going through something where someone's not paying you, why aren't they paying you? Is it just because there is a dispute, or is it just because they can't? And that's the end of my slides. Thank you.